trying to talk to the atheists, and I got in there, and then there was like one person to talk to, and then by the time I like stepped away and came back, by the time I came back, everyone was talking, and I felt like felt like I lost my opportunity.
What did you want to say?
I've been working on a an argument. I'm a Roman Catholic, and I basically try to do apologetics in between all my duties, which is difficult because like my children are awake an hour early, and just I don't get many opportunities to do things. But I've been working on a logical argument, at least relating to God. I kind of have this idea that you can't talk about the existence of God before you define Him, and that's a subject of debate, anyways. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
What do
but
you think a good definition for God is?
well, well, I don't think there is a good definition. To be honest with you, I mean, there's beyond definition by definition. So, but what I'm trying to do is structure an argument because they want a certain. I'm an author. I'm more like a novelist. I'm more abstract to my normal approach to things, and but they want a logical argument. So what I've tried to do is prove that virtue exists and what virtue is, and then relate that to God. That's my plan.
Um, why can't virtue just be genetic behavior?
Because it's too specific. It's like if you especially I use and if you get into the historical record and what people are, you know, saying about it, especially like the philosophers, even the pagan philosophers, there's no it's there's too many very clearly visible and enunciated principles behind it. So if you understand what I mean by virtue and the whole system, it just doesn't come out from genetics. If it did, then it would vary more.
Hold on, I need to reset my connection because I've got a bad connection.
It might be my, I stepped further away from the internet. That might be my problem.
Now I was working off of LTE. For some reason, whenever I'm on Discord, it won't
Uh,
change the frequency that I'm on.
oh, I see.
So
Like
if
it's
I'm on
too
LTE, it'll
occupied.
just stay on there.
Right. I've got a similar problem. These phones really, really frustrate me. Trying to like balance them with the children and stuff like that. It's just a pain. I used to have a flip phone, and that was much better.
Well, I mean, I can only see it going one of two ways because I think that some people are born virtuous. And so they either have this like ability to connect to something external to them that gives them that information, or they're born with the inclination to be virtuous. It's got to be
Really?
one of the two, right?
Well, okay, so you oppose virtue with the connection to like an exterior thing?
Well, I think you
Because
can be forced to be virtuous, or it can be part of culture that you've adopted. But I have
right,
recognized that some people are a lot of people actually are born with virtue as just one of their standard behaviors.
Well, I mean, I don't know what your religious background is. Mine, not my background, but my current religion is Roman Catholicism, and according to my understanding, but virtue, especially innocence, which is why you know, like babies will go to heaven, things like that, and martyrs are considered baptized in their own blood because they have that innocence. They also have original sin, which is to be considered.
No,
So I
I
guess you
believe in God, but I'm not religious.
okay. What kind of God do you believe in,
Um,
or what?
I believe in
What?
a God that created us to give Him purpose.
Oh, that's interesting. He created. What's the purpose he gave himself by doing that? Oh,
Yo, Nathaniel, what's up,
Um,
bro?
His purpose is uh, He loves us and He wants us to do better.
that's a good. That's a fair explanation. How are you, Dash? Good morning. Good
I'm
to see
doing good,
you.
man. How are you?
Lackluster. I went into the. I've been kind of. I woke up in the middle of the night with the idea that I wanted to talk to Muslims about, and then when I woke up, I
That
couldn't find
happens.
any.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it happens to me all the time for
That
some
has
reason.
happened before, You wake up, take a piss, and talk to some Muslims, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
No, man,
they're
I've
in.
actually, man,
I
I'm
got.
going to jail, I think. I'm probably gonna be going to jail.
Oh, that's a shame, man. So
Yeah,
the
maybe
trial
not.
the trial's not working out for you.
No, I'm not even charged with anything yet.
What? Why do you think you're going to? Well, I guess you don't have to say it right now.
Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, eh, maybe not.
Do you
Probably
mean
not,
like?
actually.
Do you mean like local jail for like a night, or do you mean
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
prison?
mean, like just for a little, like a night. I mean, probably not. If I'm gonna be realistic, like probably not.
You're probably not going to jail. Usually
Probably
they do
not.
that. I mean, I've never really experienced it. I've been afraid of it before, you
Mm,
know. Uh,
time right now.
so I don't. Yeah, so I've got no idea. I mean, I think of it like you watch movies and stuff, and they make it look so bad. But I don't know. I've heard from some people it's not quite so bad. I had a lot of friends that were prison guards, but that's prison, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but for the impression I get is that jail's not the end of the. Well, I mean, you might consider. I'll cross. You might consider repenting. You know, that
Consider
might
what?
help. Like, really looking into your own mind and done wrong, and making a firm
Oh, you're cutting out.
things, and then of course I am
I think
repenting
you're
was
good
the word
now.
I said. Am I- Oh, come on! Why
No, you're good
you're
now.
just testing my
No, man, I just
patience?
I just hope I don't get just don't go to jail.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, I mean, God can help you with that. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't do that.
Oh,
Do
okay.
not do that.
Ooh,
Sorry.
it's all right. No, but I'm not even charged with anything. I might not even be. Probably not. Hopefully not. From what I've researched, but there's a chance.
Right.
It's
Well,
coming up.
what I was trying to tell you is to repent and you know s- and see what that does. But
See, do you think I
I'm happy.
deserve to go to jail?
So I'm good.
I've got no idea. Good morning.
Because I feel like I don't.
I'm having chronic.
I mean, I don't even have a full understanding of what happened, so it's hard for me
Yeah,
to judge it.
I'll tell you
Um,
later.
Well,
I
we
mean,
can move on to greener pastures. We don't have to carry on this baggage. I'm a new guy, new face.
oh, sure.
What?
Good morning, fella.
Have you ever been to jail?
Have I ever been to jail? I have
Yeah.
not.
Uh,
Is there? Were you hoping I did?
yeah, I was kind of hoping somebody had some jail experience in here.
He needs
I've.
perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my best friend recently. I mean, he's not really my best friend anymore because he's kind of changed and we deviated. But he just got out of doing 7 years, and
Oh
we've been
shit.
talking about that for a while. So,
Well, fuck, dude. I'm not. He got fucked. I'm not looking at 7 years.
well, he didn't get fucked. He just decided to rob a pharmacy for
Oh damn.
narcotics at gunpoint, and that was a very stupid decision to do.
Oh damn.
To make. That's something you probably shouldn't do if you like freedom. But yeah, he's out.
One of the one of the
He had a lot to
this
say.
might seem this might seem like pedantic and nerdy to bring up, but one of the I think the corporal acts of mercy is to visit the imprisoned. And I
I
mean,
agree.
generally speaking, I don't really have any kind of like good, like I don't have any faith in the American justice system or anything like that. Um, but even if somebody is rightfully imprisoned, you'd still want to visit, and give them comfort and whatnot.
Yeah, it depends what they did. You know,
What was that?
it depends what they did. I feel like.
I mean, it has more to do with like your particular background and role, whether or not you're equipped with it. It's like a
Mhm.
priest, he should be able to deal with anybody in a confessional. But there are situations where uh, they would like delay absolution if you're unrepentant, but he would still listen. You know what I
Did
mean?
you know my great uncle was actually a priest, and he would go and visit prisoners and
Yeah. So
murderers? Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Catholic priest. Yeah.
Yeah, they really do it. I mean, like I was talking to a priest and he was talking about how he was going out to Latin America and he was to, serve people that don't have access to the sacraments and visit them out in the wild boonies where they've got like nothing. And he was he was sitting next to um, like missionaries from various denominations and they were talking about how they were going to bring Christ to the to these people, and he noticed that he pointed out that they were only going to the places that were civilized with high infrastructure, not at all out into the very dangerous places,
Hmm.
which is kind of, kind of a something that's probably not that hard to verify historically. Not to say every Catholic priest isn't, especially today, is like brave enough to do something like that. They're supposed to be though.
Yeah, they're priests. I mean,
That's why they're
isn't
not
that
married, so that they don't have legitimate reasons for being afraid of things.
no? Do you think that's fair though? Do you think they should not get married?
Well, some of them are married. Um, so I think it creates a very, well, it's like historically speaking, whenever you have like a warrior class that's very, very elite and professional, they're usually chaste in one way or another. And, the perfection of that would be celibacy because you can't like do the conjugal act over and over again and retain strength in your body to like resist evil. So, um, they're usually not fornicators.
Yeah, but are they really
That's
like?
the
Do you
idea
think that
behind it.
priests are like better than that? Like, you think they really beat their desires? Because I feel like most priests who don't marry are just kind of like on the side on the internet, taking care of themselves.
No, I wouldn't say most priests, but I'd say that's the idea behind it. Yeah, and I'm not surprised that some of them slip and fail. Just like, I mean,
Yeah,
for
with
one
like
thing,
kids and shit. Like, that's worse. What do you think that
well,
is?
if from what I've seen of it, it's generally it seems to be related to people who don't genuinely believe in the Catholic faith and kind of have ulterior motives even for entering the priesthood. which is very like a lot of people have heard of like Jeffrey Epstein and stuff like that. That's just something that's being practiced across every institution, and you can look at where they're just trying to blackmail people and you know infiltrate things, and you can look at documents from groups that that set that out as a goal like 100 years ago, very clearly that they want to do that. Specifically, the Freemasons in Italy.
Yeah, I
What's
got
up,
a
Rudy?
question. Do you think the Catholics represent well the word of Jesus?
Yes, I do.
So you think the way that Catholics speak today is how Jesus spoke when he was alive?
The way they speak.
The things that Catholics say, do you think that Jesus was saying, conveying similar ideas?
Can I ask you real quick? Because I woke up and my daughter and my son both woke up and they're being loud, and I just want to know if you guys can hear them.
Well, a little bit, but it's not
I
a
heard
problem.
something, but nothing clear.
Because I've relocated like 3 times trying to solve that problem. Okay, so are you talking about like what Catholics teach?
No, just the way that they talk to people. Because
Not all of them. I mean, probably not even the vast majority of them. No, I'd say they don't talk like Jesus talked. I mean, I've been very upset, even just these last couple of days, with how they act. I think in this particular day and age, so I'm a convert to the faith. I think that, especially like in America, I think Catholics, because of their higher like moral standards over the last few generations, have successfully acquired a lot of wealth and decadence, and it's caused them to be whitewashed sepulchres, like our Lord said. You know, um,
I noticed a
go ahead.
comment like you Catholics, you have a particular way of speaking, and there's like a Catholic lexicon, and it stands out to me as being like particularly aggressive. It's like
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
noticed
guys
that
say like
too. Good.
you guys say a lot like repent, penance, sin. You, I don't know.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, that's how John the Baptist talked. There is a Catholic lexicon that's kind of different, but those words specifically are very biblical.
It's just weird because whenever I think about the way that Jesus spoke to people, it was very positive, hopeful, and uplifting. And then whenever I talk to Catholic people, and it's always like focusing on the negative aspects of humans. So I always
Yeah,
wonder why that difference exists.
well, I agree with that. That's kind of the focus of Catholics, and I have an explanation for it. But I also, maybe I shouldn't belabor the point, but I also know for a fact that Jesus Christ was not always positive and uplifting, and it doesn't take too much reading to see where he drove people away specifically by having not only harsh uh, terminology like you sons of vipers, you're a generation fit for hell, things like that, he said. But then also there was one woman that asked him for something and he just totally deadpanned her and didn't respond at all until she called herself a dog. No, in fact, he basically said their whole race was a dog with dogs, and that
Wait,
they
who did
don't
he say that
deserve.
to?
He said it to a Samaritan woman, and then she said, and I can't. I remember. I recall specifically that he was very. He like was silent and did not. He was very like harsh with her. But then she said, "Well, even the dogs deserve the crumbs from the children's table." And then he, after that, praised her. So he did a lot of things that were not quite the way he's
Oh, he was
portrayed.
like hangry or something.
He's been angry, yeah. But
No, no,
I
I
mean,
said
but I
hangry.
do agree with you. Okay, I just wanted to but I do agree with you that I think Catholics are very focused on um, like the negative sides, and I think I mean, pride is always a problem, and decadence is a problem. But I think that basically because everybody is so overworked in this like modern age, and they have to work long, long hours doing things that they don't like, that don't even matter, and then come home and have no money. I think that causes them to not really have time to understand people, and so they try to drive them away instead of bring it's almost like a survival thing. I think everyone's doing that for the most part.
But you would figure that the Catholics above everyone would want to sort of embody the word of Christ and kind of live as he did and have the same message that he did.
Yeah, you would, and I think they do. I think they want to. I think it's generally natural things and injustices that have been going on a long time that kind of get them not to be like that. Like I was saying, so they acquire a lot of wealth over the last couple of generations. They also have large families. They have many children, and like I said, Christ is harsh. So basically, because they have to defend their children, protect their children, I think that, and other things where they're more like vulnerable in that sense. Where if you have somebody who's not really like married with children with a high moral standard, then they don't have this sense where they, all they have is their own personal survival to look out for. You know what I mean? So I think that's the cause of it. And
Yeah,
you can look
there's
at it
also
with the
this like
wealth too. Good.
there's this component of being like domineering and controlling to want to like control other people's behavior, not
Oh
incentivize
yeah.
good behavior, but to literally control behavior.
Oh sure. I mean, I think everyone's trying to do that to a certain point, unless they just like are not, um, like if they're really so free that they don't need to worry about other people's behavior. I just, you know, things are so chaotic and kind of now they're like absolutely shouting, these children. Um, yeah, I think they're domineering. Like I said, it's the same thing you would do if you are like trying to protect your children in the midst of a lot of danger. It's what you would expect.
That's weird. So Catholics perceive that there's constant pressure, constant danger.
Yeah, I mean, so do Muslims, so do Jews, so do even atheists. Like I was talking to atheists, and they were very upset that I kept saying "God bless you" because they saw it apparently as
That's
like
offensive. Stop saying
That's
that.
funny.
right.
Don't say that. Say Gesundheit.
No, I prefer saying "God bless you." Yeah, so that's
No,
behavior I don't.
that's racist to my worldview.
All right. Well, I'm okay with being racist. I gave an example of Jesus Christ
Damn it.
being racist, and I'm totally
Yeah, that's
fine to
racist to my
imitate him.
worldview. I don't like that.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a good example. Like that's kind of domineering behavior right there. And I'm not sure if it's a joke or anything, but it's an example
Yeah,
of
you're
it.
canceled, dude. Don't even go to work today. You're already canceled.
The
Or she has a job now.
No, yeah, true. Don't even apply for a job. You're already canceled.
right, sure. Well, yeah, I don't think atheists have control over society. Like, I don't think I don't think they have much to worry about as far as like being accused of domineering behavior because they kind of have like their own insular communities, and that's where that's practiced, and that's where I was, you know. But I think everyone does it. Muslims
Wait,
are another good
Where
example of it.
did somebody unironically like chastise you for saying "God bless you"?
It was in an atheist Discord, and the argument is that I should
Yeah,
follow their
that's
rules in there. That's fine. I mean,
that's
that's fine. I understand the logic behind it.
right, right.
I
I
used to
would,
feel
I
I
would.
used to I used to feel the same way when I was atheist.
Why? What? Really?
I mean, I was a child, but I grew up with not really a real clear idea of what religion was, and then I saw it embedded in all of society, a belief in God, and so as an atheist, I've always been kind of extreme, and so I was like, well, the only way to win is to oppose all of these encroachments at all points, and I think a lot of atheists reach that point. I think it's kind of a losing. You're not going to win that battle, but that's where my head was at.
Yeah, people want to go to heaven. You're never going to win. I don't get it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not a very popular standpoint. I mean, it's almost, I hesitate to insult people outright, but it's almost like the beginning of it's like the lowest point of thinking about spiritual things. It doesn't, you know, usually people go agnostic when they play around with any ideas for any amount of time. Because you have to kind of reject all non-material things.
No, you
And
don't. To be an atheist, of course you don't.
well, yeah, I mean there are some people that work a way out without doing that. I'm just talking about like the natural. I'm talking about the most common pathway I see amongst people. Does that answer your question?
What a question? And think I asked one.
Well, I can't see who's talking, so I'm only going out the sound of your voice. Somebody was asking me about Catholics acting well, acting like Jesus.
I believe you left.
But it's about time for me to go. So,
The trust and
Well, here's-
integrity are important, which is why I'd prefer to talk to you individually, and I'm happy to do that if you have the time to do that. But nobody has time and nobody has money because of usury, which is why I'm fighting usury with all my heart, with everybody I can find. And if you want to support me with your time, if you have any extra, please contact me individually. If you have to send me money to support me, that's fine. We'll find the least usurious way as possible, and you'll see a link. There are 3 ways that we can do this, or there are 3 ways that I'm working on right now. There's one bottom-up approach. I'm talking quickly for the people who don't have time. And that involves creating insular economies, which is what you will find out when you contact me individually with your extra time. That's the most important. I'm doing that locally and I'm doing that electronically, which is where you come in. The other 2 are top-down. So you can find a user, you can cause him to repent, you can tell him about Jesus Christ, and then he should fix everything. And so we won't suffer as much. Or you can pass Jubilee laws, which you don't need to find the usurer or do that. It makes usury illegal. It benefits everybody who is struggling, and it will punish users or anybody who commits usury. So, which is not the people you think. Nobody knows who they are. So don't worry about you being affected by that. But I'm doing the first one. I'm researching the other 2, and I'm glad to hear your thoughts.